Hello, this is Luke Moore, and this is my presentation number 2. So, geology is the study of the physical Earth and basically the rocks which make up the Earth's surface. So, what the Earth is actually made out of. It's the study of tectonic plates, which are composed in the Earth's surface, and how they move, and how the Earth is constantly changing and evolving. Um, they focus on the physical processes which shaped the Earth in the past and continue to shape the Earth in order to learn more about the history of the planet. So geologists are obviously people who study geology. They study how the Earth come about, how it's changed over the course of time, and they can do this with multiple different ways. Usually, a geologist is focused with finding out what happened in the past. So they're studying what has taken place in the past, looking at rocks on the surface or under the Earth's surface, to trying to figure out what physical processes took place. Um, so, what can we learn from geology? One thing we can learn from geology is rocks, obviously. How rocks are formed. So geologists are always wondering how certain physical features are made, how they came about. So there's 3 different types of rocks they will study. Igneous rocks, which are rocks that come from magma inside the Earth's core and are formed as a result of that. These are oftentimes rocks you see in your homes or stuff, like hard rocks, granites, marble, etc. Another type of rock is sedimentary rock, which is rock that forms from sediment settling, and over the course of time, pressure and heat will turn these into rocks. And this is where you see fossils normally. And then the last type of rock is a metamorphic rock, which is a rock that transfers or that go after it's already become a rock. It goes through some high heat and high pressure formation to change into a different kind of rock. So they study these rocks in order to find out how they form. Another thing geologists are concerned with is plate tectonics. So they study plate tectonics because it explains the history of the Earth and explains a lot of the natural forces we see on Earth. So there's different kinds of boundaries where plate tectonics, where different plates meet, they're concerned with. One of these boundaries is a divergent boundary, which is where, I'll use my hands, 2 plates are meeting and they're pulling apart. So that's a divergent. The next one is a convergent boundary, where 2 plates are going towards each other and one goes under and one tends to go up on top. And then the last type of plate boundary is a transform boundary, which is where plates are horizontally rubbing into each other. Why they study these plate tectonics is it explains a lot of the physical features on Earth, such as mountains, earthquakes. So scientists use plate tectonics to learn about earthquakes. They're often caused at transform boundaries, where the plates are rubbing against each other, and then a giant release of energy will cause an earthquake. And vibrations through the surface of the Earth will cause damage on the surface of the Earth, obviously. Another reason they study plate tectonics are to learn about the formations of mountain ranges and volcanoes. Mountain ranges are found at the point of convergent boundaries, where one plate is going under and one plate is being pushed up into what ultimately becomes mountains and mountain ranges. And this is often where you see convergent boundaries is often where you see volcanoes as well. There's both active and inactive volcanoes exist, and scientists will study these to predict future eruptions and stuff. And that. As well as also scientists use geology as a dating method. They can study fossils they find in rocks, mainly from former living material, and use what's called carbon dating, which is using that the rate that material degrades. So they use that to date fossils and certain uh, events that formed the Earth. So one way scientists use all this to help humans progress is um, through rocks and stuff. They can see what the cycles of the Earth are and use this to help climate change. They can predict what may happen, and so humans can adapt as well. They use plate tectonics and stuff to predict like the location of earthquakes and the activity of volcanoes. So geologists really help us adapt and can predict a lot of natural disasters before they happen, and um, hopefully help with climate change and tell us what we should do to improve that. So overall, geology is very important and has helped us tremendously. Using what we know about the past cycles of the Earth and what is happening now, we can match these up and hopefully um, help humans combat climate change for decades to come. Thank you.